It's a
Yamaha.
Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I adjust the drive chain. So stay tuned. Tools that you'll need. You need 1/2 inch torque wrench, 1/2 inch breaker bar, 1/4 inch torque wrench, 1/4 inch wrench, 32mm socket, 5mm hex, 8 and 12mm wrench, a marker pen, a measuring tape, and optional masking tape. I also got 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch converter. First, what I'm going to do is take off the shifter, and to do that I'm going to just do a little marking on the shifter end and on the actual rod so it lines up perfectly with the marker pen. You're going to take a note that this gap lines up with this notch here. Then get a 8mm wrench and undo the shifter. And then it just, after you loosen it, it just slides off. You gotta take off the bolt first, and then it just slides off. So I'm just gonna put the bolt back in so I don't lose it. I'm taking off the shifter so that I can take off this cover. Next, get yourself a 5mm hex and a 1/4 inch wrench, and then undo these 3 bolts. You don't want to use a torque wrench for this because you will damage the torque wrench. The cover just comes off. I've taken this cover once before off to clean up all these gunk from the chain lube. I measure the distance between the front sprocket and the rear sprocket. So it's approximately 670mm. So half of that is about 335mm, and I'll use a masking tape to mark it where the halfway point is. About 335. So that's about here. Get a pen. This is just for a rough guide. So 335. This is about here-ish. More or less. Doesn't have to be exact. But I like to be sure and thorough. Yeah, that's about it with the second marking. Next, I'm going to show you how loose my chain is. So I've already measured this while it was on a kickstand, and it was about 45 millimeter play. According to the manual, it should be 20 to 30 millimeter play only. So it's way off. And having a really loose chain can affect the way you shift. So I'm going to put the measuring tape. That's the reason why we need a measuring tape around halfway mark. And when you push it down, make sure the top of the chain doesn't come up. Otherwise you're taking the slack from the top. So you take it down, but just when you get an older bike, the top of the chain could move. So you just want to pull it down until it just starts to move. So you don't want to move it, right? Just put it down. So it's about, the top reading is about 76 millimeter. And then the top reading, the same thing. When you put it up, you don't want to move the top chain. And then top reading is 20 mil. So 77 mil to 20 mil. So that makes it 42 mil. So 52 mils. What am I talking about? That makes it 57 mil. 57, 50, 56, 57 mil play. That's a lot. And next, you'll need to find the tight spot. That's where we're going to be doing the adjustment. But because this is quite new chain, it's only done 10,000 kilometers, it won't have a very, there won't be a lot of stretch in the chain or tight spot at all. So to find a tight spot, you got to rotate the wheel and then just see where the tightest spot is. I'm pretty confident there won't be a tight spot, but we'll see. Let's make a marking so I know where we started. So that's about, see how it will travel less when you find a tight spot. So my upper reading was 20 mil. There you go. This is about, here's a tight spot. It's about 24 mil. We'll come back to it. Let's make a marking. I want to go around first. It's pretty consistent, all of it. Not really a major tight spot.
take it here. So it's about 23 mil to the top, and the bottom it's 85 mil. Yep, 23, 24 mil and 85 mil. Let's find more actually. Okay, see, it's now 85. And 25. So that's 85. So it's about 60 mil play. That's way too much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, first what you do is undo the lock nut, the one very far in. Undo it. On both sides. Now this is on the right side. I'm going to just undo it. And then what you do is get a 32mm socket and a breaker bar and loosen this axle nut. You don't want to be using torque wrench to do any of these heavy undoing the nut, because you'll basically need to recalibrate it. Okay. Just loosen it up. Okay, once it's completely loosened, we're gonna continue to the next step is tightening up the chain. So you can see these notches on the swing arm, and you also have the adjustment bolt. I think I loosened the lock nut too much. Anyways, so the adjustment bolt needs to go out, right? And there's also more notches. You can't see it. It's just right behind the paddock stand. So what you do is you screw it in clockwise. As you screw it in clockwise, it will move the extra nut block out, thus tightening up the chain. And then measure it again. So now it's about 73 mil to about 33 mil. So let's say 73 mil to 33 mil. It's just within the tolerance now. I'm going to make it around 25 mil play. So it's about 35, 30, it's about 33, 34, 33 let's say, and lower end is still 70, a bit more. So now it's about 20, 38 and 68. That's 30 mil, so a little bit more. It's about 67, 68 millimeter. I'm gonna move it a little bit. 60. They have millimeter on both sides, easier. Yeah, it's about 65, and top is about 35. So that's 20 mil. 35, 45, 55, 60, that's 30 mil. So another maybe quarter of a turn. 65 mil. 40 mil. A little bit loosen it. So 67 mil. 40 mil. So 40, 50, 60. So it's about 27 mil play. I'm happy with that. Now let's check it in 3 different locations. To do that, I'm going to use the masking tape again, just a little tiny bit, so you know where you measured it. Mark it. Okay, let's do a double check. So 67, 40, or 39, 40. So that's 27 mil play. So 67, 40, 40, 50, 67, that's 27 mil play. Could do maybe just a sprinkle. 66, 40. Okay, so 26 mil play. Let's do about another third. 68, 40, 1. So 68, 41. That's about 40, 51, 61. So 27 mil. Yep. But remember, you got to measure that in the tightest spot. So the way I measured it was actually the tightest spot, but I just want to get a sample in 3 different locations. So maybe a quarter turn and measure it again, just to be sure. 65, 40. So 65, 40. That's 41. So that's about 20. Yeah, about 24 mil play, which is still within tolerance, because the manual book says 20 to 30 mil play. So 65, 65, 66 to 40 mil. Okay. Again. 67, about 40 mil, and again that's about 26, 27 mil. A little bit more. 70. So this must be the loosest of the chain. And 40. So that's about 30 mil play. And one more. About 68 and about 42. Yeah, so about 25 mil play. Okay, one more. Last one. So where we started, right here. So 67, 68 to approximately 41. So 51, 61. So about 26, 27 mil play. and back to where we are, around here. So about 65 and 39. So 65, 39. So 49, 59. Yeah, about 26, 27 mil play. Okay, I think I'm happy with this adjustment. Notice that the block, it's the end of the block, it's 3.5. So now we go to the right side of the wheel and do the same thing. You can see now I've adjusted it, so the block is on 3.5 notches, the end of the block. Three and a half. Check to make sure the chain is perfectly aligned. It looks like it's pretty much aligned. I don't have a laser alignment tool, but just going with the eye. Next, once we're happy with it, put a screwdriver in, tighten it, move the wheel, and then tighten the axle nut. I got my torque wrench, adjusted it to 190 Newton meter, because the axle nut is 190 Newton meter. Still having a screwdriver in the sprocket and tighten it by moving the wheel forward, and then start tightening it up. Next, tighten the lock nut. I think it's 7 Newton meter, but I don't have a ratchet torque wrench, so I'm just going to do finger tight and then a quarter turn. Still double check to make sure it's still in 3 and a little bit, nearly 4. On this side as well. Green a little bit, nearly 4. Hey guys, I'm going to do a final measurement. I've tightened everything up, and now we're going to do a final measurement. So this is the slack. So bottom reading is about 68. Up it's about 39. So it's about 30, no, 49, 59, 60. It's about 30 mil. 29 mil. Let's take a few samples from 3-4 different spots. So bottom is about 68. Top is about 39. So it's about 30 mil. You want it to be about upper end of the 30 mil, not upper end of the 20 mil, rather than lower end of the 20 mil, because there'll be too much load on the ball bearing. Okay, let's take a couple more samples. So it's about 67, and upper end is about 38. So that's 29 mil, 38, 39, 48, 58, 68. Yeah, it's about 30 mil. So it's looking good. A couple more. 67 and 38. So 29 mil. That looks much better. And last one. So that's about 40, and that's about 65. So this must be the really tight spot. So the tight spot is 25 mil. That's perfect, bang on. 39, 65. So that's a 40, 50, 60. So 26 mil. One more. 65, 40. That's probably not a tight spot. 67, 37, 30 mil. Perfect. I'm happy with the result. Next, we're gonna put the sprocket cover back on. And to do that, you're gonna need to get a torque wrench. So it goes back on like this, and you need a 5mm, and torque setting is 10 Newton meter. So adjust it to 10. I normally put like a smidget over 10, just in case the torque wrench is not. So you start 10 as 0. Just put like maybe a quarter over, maybe half over. No, maybe a quarter is too much. I'll put like maybe just not on the. Anyways, yeah, just 10. I don't think these are too accurate anyways. And then screw it on. I'm gonna just finger tighten first. After I torque it. Okay, once you're finger tight, you want to now torque it up to 10 Newton meter. That's it. I had to get the torque setting from the 2016 to 2020 MT10 service manual for these sprocket cover bolts. Next, you want to put a quick shift rock back on, and remember we made a little dot, so line it up. Oh, don't forget to remove that bolt again, as you won't be able to put it back on. So line up there, it's lined up here, push it all the way in and a little bit out, maybe 2 mil in. There's a notch, you'll be able to see it. That notch is supposed to hold the bolt in. And then get a 8mm wrench, and the torque setting is 7 Nm, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to finger tight it and then quarter turn it. Okay, that's not going to go anywhere. Alright, I think this is all. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe, so it gives me more motivation, and give me any ideas if you want me to work on anything else. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.